What's up, guys? My name is Ryan, and this is my stock market update for 6/8 going into 6/9. So, this Monday we had a good day, another strong day in the market. I had the Nasdaq pulled up, briefly traded lower, and then was nothing but up all day, up 1%. We are in a bull market. The market is bullish until it's not. Right now, there's really not much sign for concern, except for there's a few leading stocks that are showing weakness. So there's a chance we're due for some pullback. Plus, it's undoubtedly, I would say, the lagging stocks such as the transportations, the oil stocks, they're starting to get very overheated right now. So I do think we're at risk for a pullback. So right now is a time where only be taking pristine setups. Like, this isn't a time to take B or C setups. This is a time to take A setups or sit and be patient and wait mostly. I'm in the market. I had a good day today. I'll show you what I'm in. I'll show you what I did. The market's bullish until it's not. Everybody on earth can tell you this market's overbought. It's straight up off the bottom, yada, yada, yada. But markets can stay this way for really long periods of time. It's not profitable to try to predict. It's profitable to interpret. So until we get a reversal candle, I'm not taking any action. Maybe if I get some offensive sell signals on some of my individual stocks, I'll sell into strength. But otherwise, the trend is your friend until the end when it bends. And that sounds really simple, but there's a lot of truth in it. I didn't know what to expect when I started buying stocks on the fall through day on 4/6, but a fall through day is a sign and signal of a possible trend change. I didn't go all in. I wasn't 100% on margin. I put somewhere around 15-20% of my account, and I started wading in over the last few weeks. And the performance of your stocks pulls you in the market. I didn't know the trend would turn into this, but I started buying as soon as we had signs of a bottom. So with that being said, I'll go through what I'm in and how everything's doing. I didn't touch my Apple position today. I'm still holding this. My buy's around 320. I'm a seller beneath the short-term moving averages, probably that purple line, which is the 10-day moving average. Somewhere in there, I'm a seller. Still in Adobe. I'm going to try to hold this into earnings as long as it stays above this yellow line. My buy is down at like 370 or so. Still in Amazon. I've got a lot of cushion in Amazon. I don't plan on selling any Amazon unless it falls below this yellow line. BioMarin, I'm still in this. My buy is about 95 bucks. I might sell some of this tomorrow if it has a weak day, but I think in general, as long as it stays above the 21, I'm not going to get out of this position because I think it could higher low and turn into something special. And if it were to higher low, I would wait for a real strong signal of a change. But if it were to give me a good signal, I would add on to this position somewhere up in here. Domino's Pizza, I'm still in this. It's on life support. My buy is around 370. It looks like it wants to test this 50-day moving average if I'm being objective, which would be a pretty bad day tomorrow. That means it's exposed to about a 3.5% down day. I think it might do that. I'll probably cut this stock if it's below today's open tomorrow. If it's green, I'll hold it. So this one's on the chopping block. I could be selling this thing tomorrow. DaVita, it had a kind of a little bit of a shakeout, take a rest after 2 big up days. I bought it at the close on Thursday, and I added onto it early Friday, so I'm still hanging on to it. I've got, I think, right at 60% of a position in this, and if it were to take a couple days off, catch at the T-line, and bounce, I'd probably buy more of it, but for right now, this is a hold to me. It's a definite sell if it breaks the open of this big up day. So I might sell this tomorrow. I don't think I will. I think it's going to end up being a hold. But if it falls apart, I'll sell it for about break even. And then as long as it holds up, I'm going to try to let it higher low. Dexcom, I added a few shares. I bought it Friday as the candle formed. And then I've added a few shares today because it closed above the T line. I'm going to probably cut half of what I have right here, about 350, and then let the other half go to the 50-day moving average. That's my current plan. I think Dexcom's going to make the right side of a structure. I think this is a leader in our market. It might go straight up from here, or it might have some headache for a few days, which is why I'm going to be flexible with the sizing of this position. Because right now it's a little expensive. I have not a ton of size in this, but to hold it to the 50, I would lose more money than I'd like, which is why if it's below today's low, I'll probably cut half of what I have in this stock. Facebook, I'm still holding Facebook. I think I've got 60% of a position in it, and my buy is around 210. And I'm going to sit with Facebook as long as it's above this yellow line. Mercado Libre, I'm still in this thing. As long as it stays above this 13 EMA, this little tan line, I'm not touching the position. If it were to close weak, I'd probably cut some of it and then let the rest of it wiggle around the 20-day. Microsoft, same thing. I'm a seller at the 20-day. I didn't touch it today. Netflix, I'm a seller beneath Thursday's low. We didn't undercut Thursday's low, so I'm still in it. If this were to get above the T line tomorrow, I'm going to buy more shares. If it stays below the T line, I'm going to sit in with my half position. If it undercuts that low, I'm selling this and the stock's dead to me. ServiceNow, same thing. If it undercuts Thursday's low, I'm out. And actually, if it makes a new high, I'd probably buy a few more shares. Today it was a hold. It went sideways. I'm break even on the position. PayPal, as long as it's above this 20-day, I'm not touching it. I have a pretty good buy point on PayPal. Regeneron, I added a few shares just below $600 today. So I think my average buy is like $575. As long as it holds this yellow line, no way I sell this stock. That right here, this action right here, that's monster volume off the 50-day moving average. That's not your Aunt Sally supporting the stock at the 50. I think that buyer is going to come back, and I don't think Regeneron's done. I think Regeneron's one that could be a real leader. So as long as it's above this 20-day, I'm not touching the position size. Tandem, this is one I bought today. I bought it early in the day, and I bought it at the close because it closed above the T line. I might add a few more shares if it's up again tomorrow, or I might just hold what I have and let it higher low. But my stop is the 50-day moving average on Tandem. Tesla, it popped for me. I bought it on Thursday. It popped. So now, somewhere around 900 is my sell point. I'd let it give back today because I have a small position in this, and I think Tesla could actually be one that runs for a while, which is why I bought small. That way I can handle the volatility of this stock because Tesla trades like a $1 stock, even though it's $900. Vertex, this thing's on life support. I almost sold it today. This is the only loss I'm still sitting on. I'm down about 3% on this position. I damn near sold the whole thing today, but it dojied, so I held it, and it held at the 50. If it's red tomorrow under today's low, I'm going to sell the whole position, and if it's green, I'm going to hold. And then if it were to round out and get above the T line, I'm actually going to add on and make it a monster position. I think Vertex could be a real leader in this market as long as it holds the 50-day moving average. Zendesk, I bought this at the close. I didn't buy big. I bought small because Zendesk is a little volatile. I see this as a faulty cup with handle. It's a very deep cup with handle. You can also look at it as a very deep double bottom with a small handle here. I think there's going to be a lot of volatility coming out of this area if it were to go up, which is why I bought small, and I'm going to try to hang on to it for the volatility. So I don't want to size it up. I'm a seller beneath the 20-day moving average. I've got like a third of a position in this stock. Finally, Zigzee. Zigzee had a decent up day. I almost cut some shares at the close because clearly it was up a lot more intraday and it sold off towards the end of the day. But because it got a new closing high, I decided to keep my whole position, and I don't have a full position in this stock. This is a smaller position size. That way I can handle, once again, the volatility of Zigzee because I knew this thing would trade wild, and sure enough, it was an up day, but that's a wild up day. And that's also potentially a shooting star candle, which is a sell signal. So if Zigzee's weak tomorrow, I could see myself selling it, taking my small 10% gain and walking. But if it holds up in the general, somewhere above $21, I'm going to let it float because I think it can higher low and really power higher. I actually think it can do a similar move like it did right here. Bigelow calls this like a J hook, like a wave 1, a wave 2, and then wave 3 is generally the same trajectory as wave 1. So I think that's what the potential of this trade is. So that being said, the actions I took today, which I already said, but I bought Tandem, and then I added on to Dexcom, and then I added on to Regeneron. Going into tomorrow, there's several stocks I like because of how many positions I'm in and because of the risk. Like I'm on margin right now. I'm probably not going to take a single one of these trades. That being said, these are trades that I see that if I were cash, I do kind of like them, and I might, maybe I'll take one of these, but because of the position I'm in, I don't really see myself taking any of these trades. I like SGen. It's the first return to the 50. Got a buy signal, higher volume. I like Teladoc. Teladoc is giving what I call a trigger candle through the T line. If it's green again tomorrow, I think that's a buy. Put your stop somewhere around the open of today. Looking at my cheat sheet here, WST, I like the way this looks. I think it's getting support at the 20-day moving average. I think it's good for a swing to a new high. Bristol Myers, I want to see Bristol Myers really pop up above 62, but I think that's an easy trade. You buy it at around 62, you put your stop at the 50. This cup with handle either works or it doesn't work, and this company's got really good earnings. So it has the potential to run if it gets its legs going. And then I'm still watching this stock, Luminex. It had a shakeout today. I think it's working on a cup, and this is still a proper cup, but like I said, I don't buy any stock that's below the T line, so it's got to get above the T line for me to buy it. But the first day that it decisively closes above the T line, I might start a position in this stock. I think this is a shakeout and near the bottom of what could be a base. I would not buy big right in here because this is a high risk area to buy this stock because this could be entering a terrible downtrend. I'm betting on this being the bottom of a base, and then we're going to build the right side of a structure, but there's no way to know that at this point in time. So this one's very speculative at this point and at this price point, and I would not buy big here. Qualis is catching at the 50 for the first time since its nice breakout, and if this were to get above the T line, I like Qualis. Same thing with 5.9, first return to the 50 after a breakout. I like 5.9 if it can get above the T line. ALNY is another one that's trying to catch at the 50. I think this could be a winner. I lost money in it last week, but I like it if it can get above the T line. And then lastly, I like Take Two. That's a good candle. It's a lot of power in one day, so I might want to catch it on a pullback and recovery tomorrow. Or if it's just green and running tomorrow, then I would buy it there. But Take Two looks good. It's kind of coming out. It's hard to see it here. I'll zoom out. It's got this structure. You can see it's its all-time high is right there at 140, but it's got another base right here that's kind of got a double bottom element to it. The buy point is somewhere around 133. You have a breakout, a shakeout, coming back through off the 50-day moving average. I really like the way this setup looks. So it's a lot of words. It's a lot of me going through just a number of charts and whatnot. That's what I like. That's what I see. This market's bullish until it's not. Don't overthink it. If I were cash, I would be very cautiously buying, and I would have tight stops. Excuse me. I have really tight stops just because the market is extended on the short term. So we are very much due a pullback to as much as the 21-day moving average, which would be 5.5% if they did it in one day. And that can be pretty wild, and that can be very expensive to be heavy in right here and then have a 5% pullback. So if I were to buy stocks, I would wait in, say 10, 20% of my portfolio, and then see if it sticks. So we'll see what comes. I'm cautiously optimistic. As you saw in my portfolio, there's a number of things I would be willing to sell tomorrow if we're having a bad day. And there's actually several stocks I'd be willing to buy more of if they're having good days. So depending on what the market action is will depend on the actions I take. And as always, I'm not giving out financial advice. I'm doing this channel for education purposes. I'm putting it out there, putting it forward, putting out content that I think I would have liked to run into whenever I was learning how to trade, and take it as educational purposes. I'm not giving you advice. Investing in stocks is risky. Do it at your own risk, and don't take anything I say to be true. I trade for a living, but I'm no financial advisor or anything of the sorts. So good luck tomorrow, guys. Go out there, crush it. Let's make some money.